Let's go next to, where do we want to go next? Let's go next to our caller from the 425 area code. Who's calling today from 425?
Hi, my name is Carlton. I'm from Everett, Washington.
Hey, Carlton. Now, let me ask you, what kind of device are we on? Are we on some kind of headset or speakerphone?
I'm hooked up to my car right now. I'm just driving back from work.
Gotcha. Okay. It's pretty atrocious, but we'll try to deal with it. What's your question today?
Okay, so I'm a I'm a huge fan of the getting the minimum wage up from I believe it was like $7.25 to $15 an hour.
Okay.
Um, but here in my state, it's definitely not. The minimum wage here is like 13 something an hour. But I've noticed a lot, like when people try to implement a $15 minimum wage deal, corporations tend to try to wiggle around it so way they don't have to pay their employees that wage or try to maximize profit. So my question is if we somehow implement a $15 minimum wage, is there something that we can do to kind of like make sure inflation doesn't increase?
Okay, well, those are two separate questions. So the first question, so give me an example of how a corporation would wiggle around if the minimum wage is 15 an hour. How do they wiggle around that?
Okay, so a while back, one of the airports in my state protested to have a $15 minimum
Yep,
wage,
that was SeaTac, right?
specifically McDonald's. Yes. Um, so they said, okay, we'll give you a $15 minimum wage, but the downside is they cut back on employees and put in machines so way customers can just manually order themselves.
Right. Now, the problem with that argument is that McDonald's was going to do that either way and eventually anyway. And that those, they don't, within 3 months of a $15 minimum wage, they don't develop and deploy those machines in order to replace employees. That's been in the works for years, if not a decade. And that's going to happen either way. But that's where I think we probably get to the same conclusion, which is the $15 minimum wage is a Band-Aid in the same sense that a UBI of $1,000 a month is a Band-Aid. It doesn't actually resolve the broader issues of the inequality that our society creates, coming technological unemployment, what needs to be a different relationship between humans and work. So if your argument is a $15 minimum wage doesn't actually solve the problems inherent to our economic system, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. What the problem is though is that corporations, they're only in it to maximize profits,
Yes.
and the only way they'll maximize profit is they'll increase the prices of their goods, which
Well,
is
but what you have to understand is labor only represents a piece of the total cost of of a company. Listen, we've addressed this before, and there's so much crazy noise on your line that I'm going to let you go. But now we're getting into material we've already discussed before. Please call back next time just on a regular phone line, and I think we'll be able to sort of hear each other much better. The car Bluetooth stuff is extremely problematic. I reserve it only for telemarketers in my personal life.